I am about to tell you how the most powerful empire on earth solved one of history's oldest problems. And the answer is going to disturb you, because the Ottomans didn't find loyal men. They made them by taking Christian boys, by the tens of thousands, by force. It is a morning in 1503 in a Balkan village. A boy is playing outside. His mother watches from the doorway. The whole village knows the officials are coming. Word travels fast in the Balkans. The officials already know the boy's name. They have records, baptismal registers, parish documents, church rolls. They know which boys are the right age, which ones are strong, which ones are sharp. They have done this before. They will do it again. The boy is taken. His mother runs after them, pleading. His father begs. Neighbors gather in the road. None of it matters. The officials have a decree and a quota. The boy is loaded with the others, and the column moves on. These officials are Ottoman. They serve a Muslim sultan. And the boy they are taking is Christian, baptized, raised in the Orthodox faith. That ends today. Once he reached Istanbul, he would be circumcised, given a Turkish name, and raised in a religion he never chose. The faith he was born into will be forbidden to him for the rest of his life. No wife, no children, no inheritance, no return. You would think that is the end of his story. It is actually the beginning. They were not broken. They were remade. Because the Ottoman Empire had discovered something no other empire had quite dared to try. That the most loyal man you can have is not the one who chooses you, it's the one who has nothing left but you. The Ottomans called this system the Devshirme. Their Christian subjects called it simply what it was, a tax paid in blood. And according to historian Halil İnalcık, it may be the single most audacious act of social engineering any empire has ever attempted. To understand why this system existed, you have to understand the problem the early Ottoman sultans faced. By the late 14th century, the empire is growing at terrifying speed, into the Balkans, across Anatolia, pressing against the walls of Constantinople. But every great empire has the same weakness. The people most capable of helping you are also the most capable of replacing you. The Turkic nobility, the beys, the tribal commanders, the land-holding families, they had armies of their own, loyalties of their own, ambitions of their own. A sultan who relied on them was a sultan who could be outmaneuvered, deposed, or simply ignored. Sultan Murad I, who began his reign in 1362, understood this with cold clarity. He needed men who had no tribe, no inheritance, no family to go back to, men whose only world was the empire, men whose only path to power ran directly through him. And he found them in the villages of his Christian subjects. Every few years, Ottoman officials would ride into the Balkan countryside, into Serbia, Bosnia, Albania, Bulgaria, Greece. They were looking for boys, strong ones, between 8 and 15 years old, intelligent, healthy, no physical flaws. They carried registers documenting each child's name, village, age, and appearance. The word the Ottomans used was Devshirme, simply, to collect. The boys were dressed in red, some historians believe, to make them easier to spot if they tried to run, and marched to Istanbul in groups. Their families had no appeal, no recourse. In some provinces, resistance was punished so harshly that Christian families learned not to resist at all. Godfrey Goodwin, in his study The Janissaries, records that the practice was called a blood tax by the peoples who endured it. Not money, not grain, but sons. Estimates suggest that over the roughly 260-year lifespan of the system, somewhere near 200,000 boys were collected. Now here's where it gets genuinely strange. Because once these boys arrived in Istanbul, the empire didn't treat them as prisoners, it treated them as investments. The boys were first sent to Turkish Muslim families in rural Anatolia. 3 to 5 years, learning Turkish, learning Islam, learning to be Ottoman. When they returned to Istanbul, the real sorting began. The strongest went to the Acemi Oglan barracks, training as soldiers, learning military discipline, combat, firearms. The best of those would eventually enter the Janissary corps, the Janissary, meaning the new troops, the Sultan's elite infantry, forbidden from marrying, forbidden from trade, living in barracks, existing for one purpose. But the most gifted, the quickest, the sharpest, the most adaptable, were sent somewhere else entirely. Into the third courtyard of Topkapi Palace, into the Enderun School, the interior, one of the most sophisticated institutions of the pre-modern world. There, Devshirme boys learned Arabic, Persian, and Ottoman Turkish, mathematics, astronomy, law, history, calligraphy, horsemanship. They graduated fluent in 3 languages, trained in statecraft, and bound to a single master. What the Enderun produced were men with no noble family to protect, no ancestral lands to defend, no tribal alliance to honor. Their only credential, merit. Their only allegiance, the Sultan. İnalcık writes that this was deliberate and precise, a system designed to create a ruling class that could never challenge the throne from a position of inherited power. They could only rise through service. They could only fall through failure or disfavor. But here is what makes this system almost impossible to categorize. Because these boys, taken by force, stripped of everything, could become Grand Viziers, the second most powerful men on earth. And some of them did. In 1516, Ottoman officials ride into a village called Sokollu Mehmed in what is now Bosnia. A boy named Vajika, the son of a Serbian Orthodox family, is selected. His uncle reportedly offers gold for his return. The offer is refused. Vajika is taken. He is renamed, circumcised, converted, educated in Edirne, and then in the palace at Istanbul. 49 years later, that boy, now called Sokollu Mehmed Pasha, becomes Grand Vizier of the Ottoman Empire. He serves 3 sultans. For nearly 15 years, historians argue he was the actual ruler of the largest empire in the known world, managing wars, directing diplomacy, rebuilding a navy after the disaster at Lepanto. His personal wealth reaches 18 million ducats. But the detail that stays with you isn't the wealth. It's this. After becoming Governor-General of Rumelia in 1551, in charge of all Ottoman-controlled Balkans, Sokollu Mehmed Pasha met his birth mother. She recognized him, the sources say, by a birthmark on his face. He had not seen her in 35 years, and in 1557, when his Christian brother Makarij came to visit him in Constantinople, Mehmed Pasha did something no Ottoman official was supposed to do. He used his position to restore the Serbian Orthodox Patriarchate, the church of the people his empire had conquered. He appointed his own brother as patriarch. The boy they stole had remembered where he came from. Under the Devshirme, the Ottomans produced some of the most capable administrators in the world. İnalcık notes that between the 15th and 17th centuries, the majority of Grand Viziers came from the Devshirme system, not from the Turkish aristocracy. Christian-born boys ran the Ottoman government. By the mid-16th century, the Janissary corps numbered around 7,900 under Suleiman the Magnificent. By 1609, it had swollen to over 39,000. The system was scaling, and scaling broke it. The sultans began allowing Janissaries to marry, then to pass membership to their sons. By the middle of the 17th century, the corps was no longer composed of men with no identity. It was composed of men with every identity, Turkish-born Muslims, hereditary members, men with everything to protect. The Devshirme was formally abandoned in 1648. The Janissaries survived it by another 178 years, until Sultan Mahmud II dissolved them in 1826 in an event the Ottomans themselves called the Auspicious Incident, a massacre that killed thousands and ended the institution entirely. The Devshirme occupies an uncomfortable place in history. Historians still argue about it. Some call it the forcible removal of children for state enslavement. Others point to the documented cases of Muslim families attempting to smuggle their own sons into the system because the opportunities it offered were real. Both things are true. The system was coercive. It was also meritocratic in a way that medieval Europe almost never was. A shepherd's son from Bosnia could become the de facto ruler of an empire of 30 million people. No hereditary aristocracy in the Christian world offered that. What it required was the erasure of everything you were before. The Ottomans discovered that the most dangerous thing about loyalty is that it can be inherited, or it can be manufactured. They chose to manufacture it. And for nearly 3 centuries, it worked. If this story stayed with you, hit that like button and subscribe. There are so many more incredible true stories from history waiting to be told. Share it with someone who thinks they know the Ottoman Empire. Next time we're going deeper into a moment that changed the ancient world forever. Don't miss it.